y'all, you're saying, hey, I did all that work for no reason, right? But I need y'all to remember, what is the point of this class?
To think.
To think and to what? Learn, right? And so, Brianna, I know you're coming back. You're like, hey, did we do any assignments yesterday? Yes, we did stuff in class to think and to learn, but I need y'all to remember that the priority is the learning, right? So, I told y'all from the beginning, I'm going to assess you in what ways? Okay, what does that mean though? Yeah, but what does that mean? I'm going to give you proficiency scales, okay? These proficiency scales are going to be an assessment. I'm going to see throughout the class if you've learned these things. And I'll mark things off when I see evidence that you have mastered concepts. So notice what it says is right here, do a self-assessment. Mark off anything you think you can do on your own during an assessment, right? So these are for you to self-reflect and to think about what can you do. Because if you can confidently mark it off, then you should be good on the assessment, right? And John, let me ask you this. How are you going to know if you're good on statistical versus non-statistical questions and categorical versus quantitative data? Right, but how are you going to know if you're good at it, if you've got it under control, you can do the thing? Oh, those Frayer models, I have to check your understanding questions. If you haven't done those, you're going to go into that test blind or that assessment blind and not know if you're ready or not. So I need you to remember, I know that the majority of classes that you've probably had, the priority is just, hey, do this assignment, turn the assignment in. But what should the focus be? We need to focus on our what? Learning, okay? So to check your understanding is to help you be prepared for learning. Hopefully y'all remember my quick little story about Caleb Kelly, the baseball player that I had a couple years ago. One of the big things that he trusted me on that his friends did not is he did the check your understanding questions. He practiced. And so when he came into assessments, he knew what he was doing. His friends wanted to screw around and not do work, and then they came into the assessments like, Mr. Kitty, I had no clue what was going on. It's weird. I gave you proficiency scales to tell you what you needed to know. I gave you check your understanding questions. And the other thing, and then Josh, so remember this, and this is not just for Josh, just because he was asking this question earlier. What is a bell ringer that you always have? What is something I'm always going to ask you to do?
Ask questions.
Ask questions, right? The bell ringer is time for you to ask questions. So, John, and for everybody else, let's say you do your practice assignment, you check your understanding questions, and you got all of them right. Do you really need to ask questions about it? No. But if you're missing a good chunk of them, that's when you can ask questions. And if you ask questions, then I can answer those questions. But I'm not a mind reader. I can't do the assessment for you. I need you doing your check your understanding so that you know what to ask. Okay? Yes, Finney.
Well, statistical and non-statistical, you know, DYU.
What do you think?
Yes.
I think yes. We've been focusing on I can't think of it.
Well, you know where you could see some information to help you remember it? The proficiency scale. What are we going to focus on recently?
Observational studies.
So observational studies, but what within those observational studies? We've been focusing on the types of samples. We've been focusing on population, sample, characteristic of interest. What else? Well, not right now. Like, what have we been focused on in the last couple of days? Bias and the types of bias, right? So I do want to point out, all of that's definitely going to be on the demonstrated understanding. We haven't had statistical versus non-statistical and categorical versus quantitative on an assessment yet. So what do you think is going to be on that assessment? Those things as well. Now, I also want to point out, my focus is learning, not just doing it once for one assessment, but really understanding it. So anything that's been on this proficiency scale can be on the next one as well. However, this assessment will have all of these concepts. I made sure, and that's how I actually create assessments. I went through this proficiency scale, the Unit 1A one, and I said, all right, have I hit this concept? Have I hit this concept? Have I hit this concept? And I made sure that I hit every single concept on that proficiency scale for this assessment. That's how I create the assessments. Yes, Benny?
How many questions will be in the
9? Now there's a couple of them that have like 3 parts to them. But like when I say 3 parts, characteristic of interest, population, and sample, for like one STEM. Does that makes sense. So, stuff like that though. Alright. I try to lay it out as efficiently as possible. Does anyone see my black presentation remote so I could get through some slides? Oh man, I'm trying to steal my stuff. Oh, Brianna's trying to steal my stuff. Okay, do I need to give y'all a minute or so to write questions on the board? A couple minutes?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Guys, this is a bell ringer that needs to be done or being worked on before the bell rings. So I'm going to give y'all 2 minutes. Write what questions you need to on a vertical surface near you, and then we're going to get started. 3, 2, 1, go. Huh? Say again. Yeah, right. That's not me. That was from yesterday. Do you think I'm going to misspell volunteer? Nah, bro. Alright.
And then go right question.
If you don't have any questions whatsoever, then work on some check your understanding questions, okay? But I'm giving 2 minutes for everybody else to write their questions.
Wait, what do we write at? No, do we go up there?
You're going to erase the blue before, yeah, 4 is you can erase this blue. Jackson can write it over where my words are. Alright, so no questions here? Is that because we're confident? Theme? KB, no questions? Come on, so make sure you do, so you started doing self-reflection. We haven't done experiments yet, we're actually going to do that in the next lesson. So we don't really know the difference between those two yet, but think about bias and simple random sampling. And don't forget the other 3 types of bias that we put in there. Categorical versus quantitative, things like that. So do a reflection, see if there's anything you ask a question about. Annalise, how you doing? Okay. Are there any of these things that you need to ask questions about? Okay, so if you don't think so, then we need to make sure that we can check them off. Now, do you have the free models with you here? So those proficiency. Alright, so notice, like, if you had done these, then you would know exactly what you're doing, right? So we need to start working on those things. Okay, so you started working on those. Did you check your answers on those? So you got all those right? Okay. So notice this is the mathematics lesson 1.1, check your understanding number 1. If you can do this, you're good. And you know what you're doing. You work through these. You work through these as well. Okay?
Hey, what this one?
Y'all act like you better take kindergarten pictures. Who you know?
Those are all the hard.
Which one
Okay, so it looks like you might be. Nope, here we go. Extra practice. So notice these extra practice questions. Questions about. So there's bias here, bias, right? Okay, stuff about. Carly, if you've done all your practice, make sure you know how to do these things. Okay. Have you done all your practice? See if you've done these things? Show me one problem you've done. Just show me. I was asking Carly, you did a drawing, so. I know we need to get a stat specific. Now you understand, those are whole bunch, so you can put all your algebra 2 stuff together.
No.
I'm gonna move this up.
You ain't got enough for him.
Alright, so. The only questions I have, so I got a couple of questions back there. Alright, so let's talk about a couple things. First off, all types of bias will be on the DYU, not a DUI. We ain't getting DUIs in this class. Now, here's the thing to remember about points. So, the way that I determine how many points an assignment, an assessment like this is worth,
Please excuse this interruption. Can we please have all freshmen
No,
answer our
go
report?
away.
Please, all
Bro, this is
freshmen.
take all this.
You-
We gotta go in.
Okay, hey, right here. So, if you remember, this is on your syllabus, your active collaboration is worth 10% of your overall grade, right? And the DYUs are worth 10% of your overall grade. Now that's at the end, but the way that I determine that is this. So notice how the DYUs and the active collaboration are worth the same number, or the same percent? So however many days have gone by that we've been studying something, that's how much your DYU is worth. So I will say there were a couple days where we're first really introducing just the lesson in general, so I'm going to take those points and kind of split it between observational studies and experiments. But I think let me see, we started really last Wednesday. Yeah, last Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. So 4 days. Now, how many points is each day worth in active collaboration?
5.
So you can have a maximum of 5, but what do you need to score on average to get 100%? A 4, right? So 4 days at 4 points per day means that you've had how many points so far? 16. So you know how much the DYU is going to be worth? 16. That's it. Okay. So however many days have gone by, that's how much the DYU is worth. Now I will add a couple more points to this because of the first couple of days, and then I'll add a couple more points to the experiments one and because of the last few or the first few days as well to balance it out. So that answers those questions. If we do not do good on the DYU, are you going to help us understand so that we can check it off on our proficiency scales? So yeah, that's a great question. My whole point, or my whole goal is for you to what?
Learn.
To learn, right? So the way that that's going to happen is in 2 ways. One, I'm going to give you feedback on your assessment, okay? Second, I'm going to have conversations with specific students, with small groups, about things that we missed. We'll go over different aspects of the DYU, stuff like that. So yes. What did she say?
She said it right.
Excuse me?
She said it. She said
Somebody
it.
off the sound like she said something to Jane.
I think that came up with the whole.
Okay, that sounds like it's everybody, not here
It's
specific.
still home.
But, yeah. But again, the big idea is learning. So my whole point is learning. I want you to learn it and master it before the end of the class, but especially by the test, right? So feedback will be significant. Also, and I'll explain more about how this works after the DYU, I use a rubric to score, not just points of like, oh, you got this right or wrong, and it's either right or wrong. It's an actual rubric based on evidence. So I'll share that rubric when I pass the DYUs back so that you understand how to improve your understanding. All right. Dang, I keep forgetting to take syllabus reminder off. So we are going to finish up this idea of bias and randomization today and types of bias. But we are going to do, which I switched the order here, we're going to do the DYU on observational studies before we do experiments versus observational studies. So the idea of like being able to tell the difference between observational studies and experiments will not be on this demonstrate understanding. Okay? The only 2 things that will be on here is observational studies versus surveys. So I do want to remind you, because we didn't do a ton with this, when we say observational study, just in general, what are we doing? Observational study.
You doing research.
So you're not doing an experiment. We're going to talk about experiments later, but you are observing, you are looking. Okay? Now a survey is a special type of observational study. What do you do special in a survey? Like if someone gives you a survey, what are they doing? Well, it's specifically asking you questions, right? In an observational study, you're trying to answer questions by observing to collect that data. But in a survey, you are directly asking somebody a question. So hold on to that. So don't forget, the only thing I want to point out here is we have lots of sampling methods. Okay? What are the 4 sampling methods we've talked about so far? So random sample, convenient sample, subjective sample, and volunteer response, right? Sample, or volunteer sample. Which of those are good sampling methods? That's an observational study. Remember, we just said subjective sample, convenience sample, volunteer sample,
Volunteer.
random sample. Which of those are good?
Random.
Which one, Malia? Random. Remember how we did this sampling over here? Which was the only one that was not biased? Random sampling. And we didn't get a chance to do a volunteer sample, but in general, we talked about it yesterday with the, I think it was in this class, or this one in the fourth block. Didn't we look at the case where someone was giving out $10 to give a 5-star review?
Yeah.
Right, so they were volunteering. Well, one, an issue there was volunteer bias, because generally people who volunteer to fill out a survey like that either love the restaurant or well, either you love it or you hate it, just in general. But then there was also the response bias, where we were encouraging people to respond with a 5-star because they want $10, right? So don't forget, the only good sampling method that reduces bias is random sampling. Everything else is bad stuff, it's biased, right? Okay? And so don't forget, when we say bias, what we're saying is it's repeatedly missing the mark. Okay, so these are all the things up through here that we should be good at identifying. Now remember, there's check your understanding on identifying sample population characteristic of interest. There was the extra practice assignment that was 2 pages that was identifying sources of bias in surveys and observational studies and explaining the importance of randomization, why do we need randomization? Because what is that going to do? It's not going to make it unbiased, and I know this is going to be tricky, and I'm going to be okay if you say that, sorry. That was from an AP stats perspective. You cannot make something completely unbiased because there is sampling variability. What was the word I used over here? Reduces bias. You can never actually eliminate bias. You're never going to always hit the mark perfectly, but you can reduce it, okay? All right, so we looked at these surveys, and we finished in this class, right? Okay, so we want to think about over or underestimating. We did not get to quick notes, so I want to finish this up before we do the DYU. Is that right? We didn't do the quick notes here? Brown's like, I don't know, Ms. Kenny, I wasn't here. Sorry, I totally forgot about that. You want this material so that you can take some notes? Okay. This is 4.3, sampling and surveys. Remember, it was what is wrong with these surveys. It was Springfield, etc. Who else was not here? Dalton, you weren't here, were you? No. You got to tell me these things so I can get you the materials you missed.
I wasn't here.
Dean, you weren't here yesterday either?
No.
That's right, I forgot. We had like half the class skipping yesterday. Not literally, and not actually skipping. I know, before you get all upset, I know you weren't skipping.
Oh, I was here.
No.
Shut up.
Hey,
Okay.
Mr. Kenny,
Yes, sir.
I don't have this.
Huh?
Say so.
I ain't got this.
Could you have possibly left it yesterday?
I was on the board.
Could that be yours?
I had stuff on mine.
Yeah. Hey, quick question. Is this anybody in here?
I can't find mine.
Wait, let me see. Yeah, there is.
Let's stop leaving our stuff in here. That's the wrong one.
This ain't mine.
It's not yours?
This is this.
Okay.
I like this.
Alright. Who needs their still finished?
Yes.
So guys, when we leave stuff, we get a little messed up. Alright, who called my name?
Please excuse
Yes,
the
Ellen,
interruption.
you too.
This is a call for iPads. If you are in
Nino,
the
the
10th grade
beginning of
and your
class,
last
so hold
name
on
starts
one
with H, I, or J, please come to the library to get your iPad. Again, that's 10th grade, last name H, I, or J. Please come to the library for your iPad. Thank you.
As a general rule, and I'm saying it to the whole class, I'll say it to my 4 long as well, I need to hear this. At the beginning of class, I know that those bathrooms get packed, right? So some people don't want to go to those bathrooms between class changes. If you're going to have to go to the bathroom, ask me at the beginning of class, knock out your bell ringer, and you can go within the first 3 to 4 minutes of class. Today, I will let you go, but I am establishing this rule for everybody. Don't ask halfway through class, 10, 20, 30 minutes into class. do your bell ringer, and after you finish the bell ringer, I'll let you go to the bathroom, okay? So, and at least, yes, you can go right now, but we need to get these notes, so I'm going to pull something up so I don't forget any key details. I had something printed out that I made to not forget anything as well. Let me reprint it. Alright, so here's all we need to do. We just need to define it. So what were the 3 different types of bias?
That we learned yesterday?
Yeah, that we learned yesterday.
Non-responsive, response, and
So there's non-response bias. There was response bias and under cover. Okay. And so this is the whole target of the lesson, right? So you might have noticed I write LT 1, 2, and 3 sometimes. It's wet. Well, that ain't gonna do it. Sounds like there might have been some water. Let me think. Just. Oh, there's definitely water under there. How did that get there? Yeah. Do I have any paper towels? No. Are there paper towels in the bathroom? Yeah. Go grab some paper towels real quick. Okay, so here's our different types of bias, right? Now, don't forget, big idea. When we say bias, what does that mean? What's going to happen, Walter? Huh? I still have no clue what you just said. Come on, focus. Arms to the hoodie. Let's go. What do we mean by bias? So it is bad sampling, but it's not one of the sampling techniques. So notice this is types of bias, not types of techniques. Now, there are 3 techniques that will always result in bias, but this is beyond the techniques. But I'm just asking bias. So it is bad sampling, but
Please excuse this announcement. Can we get all freshmen S through Z to come to the theater for the picture? That's all freshmen S through Z. Thank you.
so it's when the sampling methods cause our samples to what?
Oh, no.
It is to get messed up. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this. Remember, the whole idea is that I want to take a sample. Specifically, we're going to take a statistic from a sample, and then we're going to make a what? Started with an I. An inference. Remember, we want to take a sample. We want to make an inference about the population. We want to make an inference about the population. But guys, if we have biased data, what are we not going to make good things of? We're not going to make good inferences. We're not going to make good predictions, inferences about the population. Why? Because our samples are, well, remember there's sampling variability, but random is when it's reducing bias. Right? When it is biased, push the door. Okay? When it is biased, the samples, are they anywhere close to the true value? No. Like this one is kind of close, but remember how we said the center was over here? This center was way over here. So what's happening? The sampling, when sampling methods cause samples to not represent the what? Population, thank you. Benny's done that whole time. He knew that right away. Guys. So cause, I should say, repeated samples. It's not just one sample that's bad, it's repeated samples. Sampling methods that cause repeated samples to not represent the population. Guys, bias is the whole issue. If my sample does not look like the population, I'm making bad inferences. Don't forget that. My sampling method is bad, I'm making bad inferences.
You have to edit the video.
The videos get split up because of the way the video works, or the camera works. So I just put the videos together. I don't worry about editing, I ain't got time for that. Okay? So bias, when sampling methods cause repeated samples to not represent the population. If the sample doesn't look like the population, I'm not making good predictions. If the sample does not look like the population, then I'm not making good predictions. And that matters. Like tying it into something I started y'all with. You remember how there was that claim where 60% of all, almost 60% of all grades do not reflect what a student actually understands? Remember that study?
Yeah.
Hopefully. What's up, John?
How many definitions of bias?
Huh?
How many definitions of bias?
I mean, that's saying,
True definition.
what do you,
Real
yeah.
definition. I got two different definitions. Which
What's
one
the other
fit my
definition that you wrote?
body? From the other day,
Yeah, what's the other definition you wrote the other day?
that sample will constantly yield 40% of population. Then you can wrote that. Like, it's
Wait,
dealing with
you said,
population.
hold on, look, I want you to think about it, right? Say that one more time. When, say it again. Come on, Rihanna, tell me what you wrote.
Say it again.
Dork.
Say it.
Why I gotta say it?
Because you the one that brought it up.
The sample will consistently yield poor estimates of the population. So when repeated samples do not represent the population, they're saying the same
Why is
thing.
something like that on that? Like, why you running like two different things?
Because we're,
I'll be honest, part of it is because I didn't just memorize one definition. I'm not saying something different. That's the same thing. It's the same idea. Okay? I'm not memorizing definitions. I'm not staring at a sheet of paper that has the same definition written down, but that is the same idea. Repeated samples yield poor estimates or do not represent the population. So, focus on the idea and not the exact wording. I think that's part of the problem is we focus so much on memorizing a definition that we don't understand what it actually means. Let me say it one more time. We focus so much on memorizing a definition that we miss what it actually means. So, here's bias, but non-response bias, what is this?
It's not responsive.
So what?
It don't give a response.
It doesn't give a response. Who's not giving a response?
Bias. The sample.
But, so, who in the, so remember, it's not just, does it mean that the whole sample doesn't respond? Right here. So a portion of the sample, does anyone remember what we call the things inside the sample?
different. No, individuals.
Individuals. I really should say many individuals in the sample choose not to what? Respond. So think about how those who do respond are different from those who didn't. So make sure you write that down. I'm going to remind you of how we saw that yesterday. So many individuals in the sample choose not to respond. That's that definition of non-response bias. But for the bias side of it, think about how those who do respond are different from those who didn't. Think about how those who do respond are different from those who did not. Just like you guys.
No.
You ran out of there.
As long as I know I ain't right there.
Oh, I was going to use those to set. I mean, if you want to pull the desk further up, you can. All right. So Remember yesterday, we looked at the case where the administrator emailed the students to ask what question?
Can you restate the question?
Yesterday, we looked at the question where the administrator emailed out a survey to ask what question?
Did they do their homework?
If people did their homework, right? Now, first off, I do want to point this out, and I want y'all to think about this. What was the population in that context?
It was like 40 people.
I'm going to give you a little hint really quickly. If you're telling me a number, you're probably not hitting the population. Which students?
The students who have an email.
Yeah, the student. Student do their homework,
That's where we got data from. The population. Guys, there's a single word that I've underlined, that I've pointed out every single time we talk about population.
Response.
It's not population. Walter is good at looking on the other side. Hey guys, listen. The administrator sent out an email, was it 100 kids, right?
It was like 60 kids. It was 100.
It was 100, okay? So that 100 people is my what?
And the big population.
No, that's not my population, it's my what?
Sample.
Guys, the 100 is my sample. That's who I'm getting my data from. Those are the individuals. The 100 students she emailed is the sample. So what's the population? Which students? I heard someone just say, all the students. Guys, there's a word. The population is all the individuals. All the individuals, right? So if my sample is 100, that's who I'm collecting data from. My population is all. All. Population is all. Okay? Population is all. John, my population is all. Okay? My sample is who I'm getting data from. What was the characteristic of interest in that case? How many people did their homework, right? That's what we wanted to know, guys. I'm trying to review this, and I'm glad I'm bringing this up because
Only 40.
now, only 40, it wasn't that all 40 people did their homework, 40 people what? Responded, right? Which means that 60 did not respond, okay? So there's non-response bias, and we talked about this yesterday. So 40 did respond. How are those 40 who responded maybe different from the others? And we did conjecture maybe they were advanced students, but no matter what, more than likely, the people who did not respond
Did not do
did not do their homework, right? They didn't want to tell the administrator. They didn't do their homework. They didn't want to admit to someone that, hey, I'm not doing it. Or they just didn't see it because they didn't check their email. If you're not checking your email, you're probably not doing your homework, right? So remember, there's all these issues that we said with that non-response bias. Response bias. What happened with the response bias?
You get a response.
No crap, thank you. But why is it biased?
You write it down? No.
Let me ask you this, because it came up yesterday with the administrator. If you did respond to the administrator, it's more than likely you did your homework, but that'll tie into the non-response bias. What about if you respond to the administrator and you hadn't done your homework, what might you be inclined to do? You might be inclined to lie.
Oh.
So you're changing your response because of who asked the question, right? Remember, we also looked at the Boy Scout situation, right? Let's say someone comes up to you in a Boy Scout uniform and they ask you, how do you feel about the Boy Scouts, whatever the question was. No matter how you actually feel, you might be inclined to say you support them because they have on a uniform. So the way the question is being asked could be changing the response. So the question is asked, in a way that may affect the individual's response. So you just have to think, how could this cause someone to respond a different way?
This should be DYU. This DYU should be open notes.
Say it again.
DYU should be open.
DYU should be open notes. If I let it be open notes, am I gonna have a clear understanding of your learning or of your ability to copy notes down?
Copy notes.
The ability to copy notes. Yeah, but then after the first one, you're gonna expect me to do it on the second one. After the second one, you're gonna expect me to do it on the third one. How about this? Instead of making it open notes, how about I reevaluate your understanding on the test, and if you do better on the test, I account for that and by replacing your demonstrate understanding score.
Where's the test?
Great question. Monday or Tuesday?
Not on Monday.
Listen, I don't want it to be on Monday, but we're already behind. It probably will be on a Tuesday, but we gotta figure out where we are. All right, under coverage bias. Remember we talked about this one yesterday with the Mayor Springfield wanting to know what the average age was, but how did he collect that data? He called landlines, right? And so we called it under coverage bias because who was not being selected or being covered in the sample? Younger generations, right? So this is when a portion of the population can't be selected for the sample. Okay. I would also point that this question you want to think about also goes down to here. So think about how those who could be selected versus couldn't be selected are different. So we only got older generations on landlines. Someone pointed out in fourth block yesterday that homeless people also don't have phones. So are they ever going to be included in your sample?
No.
No, right. So under coverage of homeless people, which is a very poor group of people, under coverage of younger generations in general, even if you have a landline, it's an under coverage of poor people because they're probably having to work more frequently. What's up, Phil? A homeless person? How does a homeless person have, back up, y'all haven't listened to the full thing. Remember, where was he calling? He was calling what lines? Landlines or? Oh, home lines. How do you have a home line if you don't have a home? No, he ain't stupid, but you're probably right. They probably have a cell phone, but they probably don't have a home phone. So, those are things to consider. All right. So let's see. All right, let's do this. We're going to go ahead and do the DYU, okay? So clear your desk of everything except for your proficiency scale. So I'm not going to let you have notes. But you do have your proficiency scale, which has what that could help you?
Nothing. I got notes.
It has what on it? So that's one of the few things. I'll explain why in a second. But no pencils anywhere on your desk out at any point. So put your pencil away. Put your pencils away. What I need you to do is I want you to grab a colored pencil or a marker from the boxes. Okay, so grab a colored pencil or a marker from the boxes. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and address one thing. Parker made me realize that I screwed up in not giving y'all a Frere model for check your understanding on convenient, subjective, bless you, volunteer, and random sample. I will fix that and give it to y'all tomorrow. So Parker was like, I did all the practice. Yeah, this wasn't all the practice, so it made your life hard, right, Parker?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but put your pencil away completely. Dee Dee, if you put your pencil away, perfect, thank you. Color, crayon is good as well. Parker.
I had that.
Okay, so you can use a colored pencil or a marker. and I'm going to collect, and by the way, if you use a colored pencil, there are those pencil sharpeners in the back. I am going to collect this demonstrate your understanding tonight, or today. Go ahead and score it some. But what I'm going to have you do, and this is a new thing that I've never done before, but I think it might help us because my focus is on learning, is I'm actually going to have y'all do updates to the post attendance. I'm going to have you do updates to the demonstrate your understanding in colored pencil by working with your group. And I'm going to come around and I'm going to ask questions and push on your understanding. But this is what consistently happens is it's all fun and games, or we're just kind of chill in class until there's actually an assessment and then things get bad. We got to make sure that we are preparing for these assessments, but at the same time, I do want the focus to be on our learning. So, work with your group to improve your understanding at this point. Write down new things that you're missing. One of the big things I will point out, and I need us to remember, is to go back to the definitions. By the way, you can get out your notes at this point to update your understanding on this demonstrate understanding. At the same time, what you originally put down is what I will score. But you are making notes and improvements on your assessment so that next time with the test, you can do better. And I'm going to be giving you verbal feedback. Your group is going to be giving you verbal feedback. So if you had no clue how to do something, what should you do within your group? You should ask your group questions. And if your group can't answer the questions, guess who can when he comes around? Mr. Kenny might ask some questions of you, give you hints. Now, don't forget, as you're updating these things, we've got 5 minutes, I'll let you know when we have 1 minute left so you can pack. Do not forget, as you're updating these things, that your learning matters and it will show through on the next assessment. A lot of these questions will be on the next demonstrate understanding as well. So that if you didn't do it great this time, you can do it better next time, so I can update your proficiency scale. And if you do it better on the test, then I'll replace this demonstrate understanding grade. Focus on your learning. Don't forget to put a claim and evidence and reasoning. Alright? So I want y'all to go ahead and start talking with each other, updating. Go ahead and start updating your demonstrate understanding, and we will finish doing this tomorrow. So you can have out your notes.